Hello, lads and gentiles, welcome to an episode of this channel where I don't actually upset a ton of people and feel the need to respond to over 20 hate comments. I guess you could say I've made my YouTube debut, and you know what? It's lovely to still only have 17 subscribers. I'm thriving. I'm living my best life, but I am also professional and running out of dresses and clothing to wear that makes me look professional. So today's topic is that writing is important, especially for kids. And when I say kids, I mean anyone under the age of 18. Because, let's face it, when you're in middle school and high school, that's when the emo-ness of writing kicks in. So, why is writing important? I think the answer is really simple. It's creative expression. It's being able to put your thoughts and your personality onto a page and making something that is completely your own and being able to express ideas that otherwise would have to be stuck in your head. I've read a ton of articles to get into this because, you know, when you need to argue something, you need to gather evidence. But I also have a very personal connection to this topic. So I read this Atlantic article that talks about how free creative writing expression really helps kids. And when I mean free, I mean they're allowed to write about anything they want. And when I'm arguing for why we should have creative writing and freedom with that, I feel like I first need to go into some logistical reasons or just some reasons why people or schools might not encourage it. And one of those really is, if we encourage people to write freely, what if they write about violence or killing other people or other disturbing topics that we don't want kids to talk about? And while I understand there's a certain purity with children, I really think that writing, especially when I was a little kid, I did write like stories about murder and murder mysteries. I was very obsessed with murder mystery novels and just mystery novels in general. But I really think that it helps us understand the impact that has, because when you're writing a character who's lost a loved one, you're able to empathize with people you know who may have gone through that. And as a kid, when you're writing stories like this, it really helps you understand situations. And if something like this has happened in your life, or like a kid has had like a death of a grandparent, it's kind of maybe good to write about that or write about things they can't really understand. So while it is gory and scary, I'd say the world is gory and scary, and it's important for kids to understand that, and without bringing it up, they're able to think of these ideas themselves and write through them. It doesn't automatically make them monsters or horrible people. Plenty of people, adults, write horror, and some of them wrote those when they were kids. I was obsessed, and I know others were, and other famous authors were, but they grew up to be normal, functioning human beings. It doesn't make you a monster or something if you write about these things. So I think we can reasonably dismiss that as an argument on we shouldn't do this because what if a kid does this? Because there are also rules in the creative writing club I'm in. If you do talk about something that is very concerning, in a very concerning way, it is the job of a teacher to report that. They are legally required to take action to make sure you're mentally okay. And that can actually be a really good thing, because sometimes when we express these opinions or ideas, there is something that might need to be addressed. So this goes into why writing is so important, especially with free expression. When we aren't limiting what children are able to talk about, they're able to feel the freedom of expressing their ideas fully. I think a great example of this is an exercise I do. I have anxiety and I get really anxious sometimes, so I have a few ways of dealing with that. And one of them is a pure writing of all my feelings, to express these ideas or to just get them out, and it makes the vomit in my head, the soup in my brain, so to speak, clear. It's like words. It isn't actually just a me thing, like, oh, I can do this. In fact, Gail Thompson, this well-known literary professor, actually wrote up 7 reasons why children should write, and one of them was being able to sort out or think through ideas, which is a very important thing, and why I believe children should have creative writing, because it gets that stuff out of their brains that they might not be comfortable telling someone, and it puts it in a page. Even better, it might put it into other characters. And if you read something about someone who isn't you, but maybe is based off you, you feel less alone, and you feel like your feelings are validated. And I think that's a really important thing. Now, why am I really arguing about creative writing? Besides, like, maybe some schools get ticked off with, murder and gore and children expressing those ideas. Well, creativity is undervalued in schools. And you could say, no, it's not. I had to do an art project, or I had this thing we did in Spanish with writing. Like, I know in Latin right now we do projects and create things with classical references. But when you look at what schools value and their achievements and what they promote and emphasize, you're going to find STEM. STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. For those of you who don't know, I didn't have to look that up. I didn't have to know that. That has been shoved down my throat since I was a little middle schooler. STEM. STEM is the most important field for your children to go into for a better, brighter, and richer future. I don't have a problem with people who want to go into STEM. I believe it should be encouraged for both men, women, non-binary people, yada, yada, yada. It should be encouraged for people to go into, but we really de-emphasize creativity because of the money value of those jobs. And when you say, hey, the kids who go to our school, this many of them become engineers and doctors, parents are like, ooh, that makes a lot of money. And also, a lot of the jobs you think about when you think about why creativity is important are high stakes jobs, because they all involve fame. Famous writers, singers, actors, artists, all of that you have to have fame for, unlike the very respectable collegiate courses and career paths. So that's why it's important. It's important to let kids know that they are able to create something that doesn't have to be a logic puzzle. Because while logic puzzles can be fun and interesting, I think it's very important to let kids express their feelings and express the things inside of them. And there are plenty of jobs that you can do if you have creative writing skills. In fact, most jobs, it's better if you have creative writing skills. If you work in a company, you're gonna have to write emails, memos, reports, all those things. And if you're a good writer, you can make them more interesting and more engageable to the audience you're trying to get them to. Imagine you have to write an email to a coworker to get them to do something, and you say something personal and you throw in like a little joke. That's creative writing. You're not just writing, hey, do this. You're giving it flavor, you're giving it life. Also, maybe you have to write reports for your jobs, or you're giving a presentation. If you spice it up with interesting language, people are going to think you know what you're talking about, you're entertaining to listen to, and you're personable. Creative writing is also knowing how to present yourself and understand the language that goes with a certain way you need to be for a job. I have more. I read a lot on this because I needed to prove I'm not throwing my life away by wanting to major in English or something similar to that. Creative writing is incredibly important, but we seem to devalue it because we don't understand that jobs need that. We understand that jobs need math and science and things that are logical and less idealistic, even though things like creative writing have been proven to help children and give children a free space to learn and grow. This is also a problem because creative writing in schools used to be a bit of a more thing, but now we have standardized testing and standardized courses. And while some give opportunities for creative writing, mostly like an AP Lit class, I would say, has given me some opportunities to creative write. We're more so dribbled down to like going through everything very systematically, even in Lit and Lang classes, and to look for the things that are going to matter and know these grammar terms and know what to spot, know how to do this and know how to do that, instead of how does this make you feel? How do you think about this? Be unique. But then you get a test and you have to know the formula to write a perfect essay. You have to understand how to read someone's words and know that there's a systematic and perfect way to do something, even though there really isn't in writing. There's a better way to do things. There's no perfect or right way to do things. It also cuts out all the fat and the time for creativity and expression and makes it, you need to get ready for this test. You need to get ready for this test. You need to get ready for this test so you can go to college. Shattering creative accomplishments and achievements is detrimental when you don't value what kids can make on their own and you want them to do something where they don't make things, or they do something where they get more money. You squash their passion. And I don't like that. Since I was 8, I wanted to be a writer, and the one thing that makes writing so special to me is my creative writing club in my high school. I have been in it since freshman year. I am now the leader of it, second term technically, and it saved me. I was a very depressed freshman, and I found a group of people who wanted to be who they are, and they didn't discourage you from whatever thoughts were in your head, and it was beautiful. I've never met a group of people more welcoming like that and more open to hearing and expressing themselves. Writing is the most freeing and liberating thing in this world, and it helps kids when they're going through some rough patches in their lives. We got a new sponsor for the writing club this year, and when she said why did she do it, she said, I've seen how much this means to kids and I couldn't take it away. And I thought that was beautiful because it's so true. Anyways, thank you for watching. This video is definitely going to be long. Subscribe or unsubscribe, and I'm used to hate comments now, so feel free to add as many of those as you like on this video. Bye.